Welcome to the mirror test. You'll love this. Now, the way the human voice works to create sound that can be understood by other people is an incredibly complex process. But I'm sure you didn't take this course to be taught like a medical student. You just want to know how to improve your own voice for your own work, or simply make it more attractive to other people so they can understand you better, and for you to experience less problems such as sore throats or tiredness when using your voice for extended periods.
In very basic terms, the sound of a voice is created when air goes over vocal cords and makes them vibrate. If we take two pieces of paper, put them close together and blow through them, you'll see the vibrations that occur from the breath that you're putting between them. We have vocal cords that are much more complex than pieces of paper, of course, but it's the same sort of principle. However, there are two sets of vocal cords, and it is very important to understand this. There are vocal folds and there are non-vocal folds, also known as false folds. These false folds are there to close when you are eating and drinking, so that no food or liquid goes down through your windpipe and into your respiratory tract.
Now, when you speak, the false folds are meant to open, leaving the true vocal folds to vibrate and create your voice. However, if you've got your voice into some bad habits where these false folds do not completely open when you're speaking, then your voice will feel almost continuously constricted, as the true folds won't be able to be free to vibrate fully. They'll be touching these pesky false folds, you see. So it'll feel a strain to speak or sing at the higher registers, and the result of this is that you may certainly produce a raspy voice that may not be that nice to listen to. We are in the horrible vocal fry territory here. Your voice will get pretty sore as well quickly.
Now, you may have no issue with this at all when you're speaking normally. However, when you get emotional and your voice pitch rises, or if you're a singer and trying to attain a really high note, your raised emotions can partly close the false folds. For singers, it's often the fear that they're not going to reach the high note. That fear makes the false folds close, and they may well ruin that top note.
Of course, if you're a voiceover artist, that sound will be using your false folds, because that makes a great monster roar sound, and singers also use false folds vibrations as well as our friendly monster sound. But generally in speech, you don't want it. So what can we do about it to create a lovely clear voice where these pesky false folds don't come in and ruin our lovely voice unless we're swallowing? We're going to learn an exercise called retraction. It's a way of opening up the throat to create an inner smile. And this will create a clear area for sound production, clear of any restriction. Now, in this section, it's important to note you're not doing anything like lowering the larynx or making the voice louder. You'll just be making it clearer, yeah? Now, here's what you need to do. Find a mirror. Now, you know when you've got a dirty mirror and you want to wipe it with a cloth, you don't moisten it from the tap, do you? What do? Yep, you open your mouth and you go, all on it, don't you? All right, go on, do that now. You got that in front of it, yeah? You got the sound it makes. So you heard a breathy sound because you're exhaling air, and you kind of sort of do it with a flourish, don't you? However, you may well be listening to your false folds getting in the way deliberately. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because you're not speaking, are you? All you're doing is Now, do the her sound, doing your best to exhale, but without making a sound. All right, try that now. I'm waiting. Can you do it? You see, you're forced to open up your throat and close the false folds, right? The mirror is there. You're trying to breathe. Instead of going, you'll go, right? The air's still coming out, but you can't hear it, can you? Right? Because basically those false folds aren't ruining the party. So just try that now. You may have to open your mouth a little bit wider so you don't make any noise. That's perfectly fine as well. And you'll know when you've reached this clear throat position, then you need to be able to default to this when you're speaking and singing. You've got the smile here. You've opened it up, right? You don't have to fully open your mouth just to reach this position. It's nothing to do with the mouth, really, but it's easier to demonstrate, to feel that feeling first. And it's another one of these where you're not really going for the sound, you're going for the feeling, all right? So what we're doing, instead of it's, and it's exactly the same breath coming out. Honestly, it is. If I show you a mirror now, but I can't because you'll see the cameraman. But basically, here's another way for you to find the great difference with the false folds affecting the voice and the folds fully open. Close your ears with your fingers. Now breathe. Breathe slowly in and out. And if you can hear the air moving, a tiny little murmur, you're likely not retracting the false folds. So try to breathe silently with your fingers in your ear. Inhalation and exhalation, and just feel the air moving without sound. Right? Have a go with that. Now, the silent laugh is also useful as a retraction exercise. Yeah? It can start as a bit of a yawn, but then you relax, you open the jaw wide, make the motions of laughing but without sound. And it can really help to open up the throat area. We'll look at the silent laugh in more detail later on. But get that imaginary mirror, or a real one if you want, to prove that the air is coming out, and try and really open it up and get rid of those false folds getting in the way of your beautiful, clear voice.